The soldier who survived because he was 5 minutes late. One order that cost hundreds of lives. He returned from war, but the war didn't leave him.
The soldier who survived because he was 5 minutes late. He woke up that morning with a strange sense of anxiety. The night had been short. The shelling barely stopped. The unit had orders to move out at 6 a.m., but he was late. Not because of fear, not because he refused to go. He simply couldn't find his body armor. Someone had mixed up the gear after night duty. The commander shouted, "We're moving without you." He stayed behind. Just 5 minutes. When he ran out after them, the road was already empty. And at that exact moment, everything changed. Mortar fire. The first explosions hit the column almost immediately. The same road, the same spot where he was supposed to be. The radio went silent, shouting over the comms, "Smoke." Hours later, he learned the truth. Some of his comrades were dead. Others were wounded. The same men he had shared tea with an hour earlier. The same men he had joked with the night before. He survived. Not because of skill, not because of heroism, but because of a missing body armor and 5 minutes of delay. Then came the silence, and the question that haunts many soldiers: why them and not me? He returned from the war, but every time he looks at the clock, he remembers those 5 minutes. Because sometimes in war, life is decided not by orders and not by weapons, but by chance. And that is something you have to live with. One order that cost hundreds of lives. The order was given quickly, without long discussions, without doubts spoken out loud. On the map, everything looked simple. Take the position, move forward, hold the ground. Command was confident. The enemy had withdrawn. But the map was lying. The intelligence was outdated. Some reports were ignored. Others were dismissed because no one wanted to hear them. An officer on the front line tried to object. "They're fortified. We're not ready." The answer was short. Order confirmed. Execute. The column moved out at dawn. Open terrain. No proper cover. No air support. The first shots came before the soldiers even realized they had walked into a trap. Mortars, machine guns, fire from every direction. Communication with command was lost almost immediately. The request to retreat went unanswered. The soldiers held on as best they could, not for the order, not for politicians, but for the men standing next to them. When the fighting stopped, the position was never taken. Hundreds killed and wounded, and in the report, there was only the dry line: mission partially accomplished, losses acceptable. None of the people who gave the order were on that position. None heard the screams over the radio. None looked into the eyes of the wounded. For command, it was a mistake. For the soldiers, it was their last order of their lives. And the most terrifying part is this: war is full of stories like this. They're just not always told. He returned from war, but the war didn't leave him. He stepped onto familiar ground, the land he had left years ago, trembling with every explosion back then. It seemed like it was all behind him. The war remained on the map, at the front, among foreign ruins. But the war stayed inside him. At home, everything looked the same: silence, family, familiar streets. But his eyes saw what no one else could see. Every sound, a car, a plane overhead, even a dog barking, could turn into a memory of shelling. He tried to live, to work, to smile, to talk to people. But often, he felt as if two realities were layered on top of each other: his home and the front, at the same time. The dreams were worse. He woke in the middle of the night, hearing explosions, screams, the smell of gunpowder. Sometimes he awoke seeing comrades who were no longer there. People around him didn't understand. They only saw the calm facade he tried to maintain. Nolan heard his hands shaking as he opened a box of letters from the front. Sometimes he thought the war hadn't stayed where it belonged, but in him. That the war had become a permanent shadow, a companion he had to learn to live with. And no matter what he did, no matter what he told others, a part of him would always remain there, among smoke and ruins, where no one could ever be brought back.